Hopefully you guys can hear me good. It's a little windy today. I'm up here on the top of a mountain. It's kind of one of these spots I like to go and record because it's out of the way of everything. I don't have to really worry about people getting in the way of the shot or just kind of getting nervous around camera. So you just saw I did a little bit of a cinematic shoot with the MR2 here. I just got it back from TCS in Covington, Kentucky. This video is just kind of explaining a little bit of my experience going through with them, with Ty and Christian over there, kind of the whole process of how it went. So when I picked this thing up, you guys saw, I went down there with my buddy Filipenko. We traded my 2007 Gixxer 1000 with only 2,000 miles on it, just needed a fuel pump. We traded that for this 91 turbo MR2 that had a blown engine. It had a Gen 2 swap into it, but full story with that will be later on if you guys care to hear about it. But short version is, it blew up. Had crank walk, didn't necessarily blow up. So I had crank walk, and so the guy was asking 4,000 or trade for a motorcycle. So we did that. We came back up here, and the car sat for about a week or so at my girlfriend's apartment. And during that time, I was browsing around online for different swaps to do, or I was also pricing out engines. But where I'm at right now, I'm stationed down here in Georgia, pretty far away from home, so I don't have all my tools. I don't even have jack stands, and a lot of times military bases will get upset with you if you're working on your car in the parking lot. Some bases, they'll have a auto skill center with lifts and tools, and you can go there and pay like $7 an hour to use that. But where I'm at now, we don't. So at this point, I was kind of forced to find somebody to do the swap for me. I was looking around, and I saw companies like, I think there was RAT2, something like Sanders Motorsport down here near Atlanta, and a few other miscellaneous ones. Or there was like the 3S twins, those guys too. So had a bunch of different options, but the one that was closest to me and I felt the most comfortable going with would be TCS, like I said, out of Covington. Website was professional, prices were really, really good, kind of hard to beat, honestly, at that point when you're doing something like this. So I was like, you know, I'll take the plunge with them. Tried to give them a call a few times. It was a little difficult getting through at first. I tried to call, I want to say maybe 3 times, but the phone would just keep ringing and it was really hard to get through. So I ended up sending Ty an email and told him how I tried to call, and he told me that he would give me a call that following Monday or something like that. So I believe he gave me a call, we talked over the phone, I asked a few questions. I was curious if he'd be able to wire up the electronic boost controller, if that'd kind of be included in the swap price, a couple other random things. I didn't really know a whole lot about these at first, so I asked him if he'd be able to reuse the same. It had a CT20 turbo, and I didn't really, after the car was there is when I really jumped online and started reading as much as I could into the different generations of the engines. So I asked him if he could reuse the same turbo, and he's like, oh, trust me, I mean, like, that turbo is not nearly as good. So it's kind of nice. He was helping me out, give me a little bit of information on that. That was nice. So I told him, you know, let me think on it. I think I'll give you a call back here in a few days, and we'll see what we're going to do. I want to say it was the next day or two that I called him back, and I'm like, all right, man, let's do this. I'm ready. Lucas. I'll go with the basic Gen 4/Gen 5 swap, and we'll get the ball rolling. Right off the bat, communication was pretty good. I didn't have any issues getting through to him. Especially as a new customer, you're going to do what you can when running a business to make sure that you get that customer. So that was nice. Everything was going back and forth. I think I reached out to him and really started getting the ball rolling on October 14th, and messages were bam, bam, every minute or so. You know, he'd send me the invoice. Okay, hey, at first I had a problem getting the invoice signed. I think there might have been something wrong with the website, nothing on either of our end. And then send me another invoice website. So anything that was involved with kind of answering questions off the start to really get me in and to get some money up front and all that, communication was really good. Then we when I reach out to a business like this, I make sure that I don't annoy them too much, because I know how it is running a business, that you're gonna have those people that are hard time customers, and I'm the type of person that really tries to make, sorry I have to turn my back here to the wind. I'm the type of person that really tries to make everything kind of go, try to make everything go very smooth, so I try to be a very easygoing customer, understanding, don't try to get in your way too much, just kind of let you do you. So after I made that final payment, that was on the 14th, I ended up sending him a message. The last message I sent him, I think, was, hey, is it okay if I bring it by on this day? So I already made half the payment. I asked him if I can bring by the vehicle on like the following Friday or Saturday or something like that. So didn't hear from him for the rest of the day. It wasn't until 2 or 3 days later that he wrote me back and was like, oh yeah, that day would be fine. So, you know, that was kind of the start to how I had a little bit of a problem with communication with these guys. And that's really where most of my problem lies with them, is communication. That's just a big thing for me, especially when you're spending as much money as we did on this car. You really want the communication to be there. So I brought the car up, I think on the 26th or 27th of October, and I let him know it was there. I don't think I really heard anything from him, so I messaged Christian, let him know. He's like, all right, cool, man, I see it on the cameras, like, awesome, it'll be safe, cool. So I leave, and I think I let him know I left it there. I can't remember exactly because this is all over a month ago, but I mean, I have all my emails and everything. So, yeah, so we dropped the car off and come home. And I want to say about 2 weeks later, maybe, I want to say on the first week of November is when he said, hey, we started your swap today. Everything's going good, this and that. And then I was like, all right, awesome to hear. And then he said, you know, we did run into a couple issues, like the clutch hard line, clevis pin, a few other small things that need to be fixed. I was like, all right, man, just do it. Just really trying to get the engine and drivetrain reliable. That's kind of my biggest thing right now. Those are the only ones I really care about. You know, this car it's definitely a project. I mean, blown struts, obviously the paint's terrible on it. Like, it needs some work. This isn't a brand new car. It's almost 30 years old. So I had him fix those main things. I wasn't really getting many updates. I do like how Christian posts updates on his page about the status of people's cars. Like I said, when you're spending that kind of money, it's really nice to see that. Unfortunately for me, I didn't really get any updates. Nobody really reached out to me. I didn't really see any on Christian's page. The only time I happened to see one was when the engine was out. It'd be kind of cool to be tagged and whatnot, like, oh hey, this is yours, because this color combo, white with the red, a lot of people do. And at one point there was one put up and I kind of mistook it for mine. Kind of got a little excited, but when I think I asked about it, I didn't really hear anything. So that was one thing. I wish there would be a little bit more on the update end. As time went on, I would start to try to look at the background of the videos to see if I could even see a hint of my car at all. And at one point, I thought I saw the front of my lip just completely cracked, and I'll put a picture of that here. What ended up happening is there was a ladder, I guess, in front of it, and it appeared to be making an optical illusion that the front end was cracked. So when I reached out to Tyler about it, or to Ty about it, I was like, hey man, I believe, you know, my bumper might be cracked. How would you like to go about fixing this? If it is messed up, you know, I'm not mad. I just wish I would like to know. I feel like I worded it pretty respectfully. I got a message back. It said, going to coach basketball. I'll talk to you later. So, I mean, I wish right off the jump there would have been something like, hey man, your car should be okay. Last time I checked, it was all right. Just something to kind of give me that instant little bit of relief. Just be like, hey, last time I checked, it was okay. And that would have made me feel a little bit better. But it was kind of like, all right, now I have to just wait to hear what happens and however long. So he said he was going to coach basketball. I mean, I played basketball. Practice doesn't really go on that long. So I'm like, I'll give him maybe 2 hours or so, see if I hear from him. I actually give him 3 hours, just over 3 hours, and I send him a message. Hey man, any word on what's going on? And that's when I get a message back that says, hey, still coaching. I'll message you when I get home or something like that. So about another 35 minutes go by, I believe, and I have a message back that was actually, to me, it came off a little bit rude. It was, hey, I don't even know how that's slightly possible or something like that. You know, we made sure to take care of everybody's cars. We even removed your side skirts, even though they were already falling off, in order to like not damage anything. And you do know that we have 3 white cars at the shop right now. Well, you know, there could be 3 white cars, but everyone knows their car. I mean, if down to like little things, a little nick in the paint or something, you're gonna know your car. So I knew that was my car I was looking at in the background, but he said he'll let me know in the morning, show me a picture, and the next morning he did. That was kind of the first time I didn't have to reach out to him and ask him for like an update, and he sent me one. Actually backtracking a little bit too, when he would tell me these issues that were wrong, I would say, hey, you know, yeah, let's fix it, let's do this, let's do that. Hey, would you mind if I could get like a quick idling video just to see the car running? And he'd maybe reply to my questions like, oh yeah, okay, cool, we're gonna start fixing that, but then like wouldn't send me an idling video. Yes, I understand running a business, but it doesn't really take a whole lot to go outside and take a quick 10-second video of someone's car running just to send it to them so they kind of get excited. You know, again, when you're spending that kind of money, I spent over $6,000 on this swap and repairing a few other small things that need to be fixed along the way. It would be nice to kind of get those updates. And a lot of the other pages and a lot of the other businesses that are doing stuff like this, they are giving constant updates. So that would have been nice. So car ends up being, I think I asked him, hey, any chance you would be able to give me an estimated time that the car would be completed? Like, no rush. I mean, I have another car, so I was like, no rush, just trying to plan it with work so I can take it off and be able to get up there. And I know that I don't want them to have to come in on the weekend, and those are the only times I really get off. So I want to make sure I can get up there and talk to him and be there in case I see anything wrong or have any more questions in person. Because the last thing I want to do is pay him all this money and then not see him, and I'm just left with this car. And that's basically what happened. I paid all the way up to like $1,500, and I had that in cash, ready to give him in person. I was supposed to pick it up on a Friday, and the Friday after Thanksgiving, but Wednesday I was like, hey, you mind if I come up today by any chance and we pick it up? He's like, yeah, man, that's no problem, of course. You know, we need to have the money paid up front though. And I was like, you know, I was kind of hoping I'd be able to give it to you in person. Is there anywhere I can meet you, or like a Dropbox or something, or somewhere that we can meet up? And he's like, well, it wouldn't really matter if you came up today with cash or if you came up on Friday. Like, I'm not going to be there, so I wouldn't happen to see anyway, or whatever the story was. I'm like, okay, man. So I go an hour south to the bank, put it in there, pay him, and then drive another 400 miles to go to the shop. Well, actually, I didn't even go to the shop. I had a buddy pick it up for me who only lives like 10 miles away, because I wanted him to, I at least wanted somebody to be at the shop when we pick it up in case he's pulling out of there and something blows up before he even pulls out of the driveway. So I wanted somebody there. And Christian, or I think he ended up talking to Ty, and he was like, Ty, let my buddy know, hey, your buddy knows that he bought like a project car here, right? And it almost came off as a little bit condescending to me, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what a project car is. I've had 15 plus cars, had nice cars, I had bucket cars, you know, I've had everything. I know how to work on cars, I know what a project is. I didn't buy this car with the intentions of, hey, this thing is gonna be mint after this engine thing. No, it's, like I said, it needs paint, it needs new struts, it needs brakes, it needs everything. So, to me, that I took that a little bit to the chin, like, hey, your buddy's an idiot here, he thinks he's getting some mint car, he knows it's a project. That's how I took that. So after my buddy picks it up, brings it to his house, I meet him there at his house at probably midnight, get the car. While I was getting there, I think I got a message from Christian like, hey man, happy Thanksgiving. You know, hey, don't break too many necks in that thing. You know, some fun, lighthearted stuff. I was driving, so when I got there, I was like, hey, appreciate it. We were driving, we just made it. I'll let you know how the drive home goes. So I make it home. He sends me another message like, yeah, let me know, blah, blah. Something along those lines. Like I said, I can't recite it verbatim, but this is the general gist of how the messages went. So I get back, end up sending him another message. I'm like, hey, sorry, we were driving, made it home, car ran awesome. Got a couple questions for you. First one, I want to know if the car ran a little rich. Second one was because I put a new tachometer in there, the speedometer didn't work, so I wondered if the speedometer and the odometer were linked up together, because I knew the speedometer wasn't working. I figured that's why the odometer wouldn't tick either. So I asked about that. And I also asked if they actually hooked up the electronic boost controller like they said they would, because it says it's running 22 pounds. It's not even reading the boost that it's at all, so I have no idea what I'm running right now. And so I asked him about that. I might ask him one other question. Didn't hear anything back. I told him I made it home safe, didn't hear anything back, and that was all right. So I ended up messaging Ty, basically the same thing. Hey, made it home safe. Hope you. I messaged him this on Friday. I was like, hey, made it back at like 8:30 in the morning. Fell asleep. Hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving yesterday. Just want to let you know that we made it back safe. And here's a couple questions I have. The same ones I asked Christian that he didn't happen to answer, so I asked Ty. And I was sent all that, and I sent one like right after. Instantly, I was like, oh, by the way, love this thing. It's awesome. Super happy. Didn't hear back. So that's kind of discouraging as a customer when all these different things kind of went into play. The communication was really bad. There's a few other issues and things that happened that I could go into more detail about, but this is just kind of the general gist. The communication was really bad. I felt like I was talked down to. The communication, that's really where I'm getting killed on, because it was like the only time he'd really talk to me and answer my questions would be when money was involved. So anytime I go to make a payment, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna make a payment, then I wouldn't hear from him. So one day he told me, I think I already brought it up, but how he would let me know on Monday when the car would be ready to get picked up. And that was the Monday Memorial Day. So I was like, oh, we probably both forgot. So I don't message him or anything. I don't hear from him at all on Monday. He told me that he would tell me on Monday on that Friday. So Monday comes around, don't hear anything. Tuesday comes around, it's like 1 o'clock. I actually made another payment for $750. I was like, maybe if he gets a notification like, oh, hey, this kid just made a payment, I was supposed to give him an update, I should do that. So I send him money, don't hear anything from him. Then 1 o'clock rolls around, that's when I write back, hey, hopefully you enjoyed your Memorial Day. I believe we both forgot, but any updates? And then he's like, we should be looking at this day, this day. So anyway, that was something that happened previous, but that just kind of ties in the communication. So all of that just kind of goes into play. The car does run really, really nice, but it's just a little suspect to me that when I tell you I make it home safe, I don't hear anything. When I ask you a couple questions, I don't hear anything. I wasn't going to be able to see you at all when I came to pick the car up. That's kind of discouraging. Like, if it would have even taken 20 minutes off a Saturday to come in and put somebody's mind at ease and kind of get another customer for life, then, I would do it. I've already recommended them to multiple people. I really did like their work. I would like to do business again in the future, but at this point, just everything seemed a little bit shady. After I paid them that last bit of money, haven't heard from them since. Yeah. I think the car might be burning a little bit of oil under boost. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes in the long run. I put it up for sale. I don't really care to sell it. I want to keep it, but I mean, if the right offer came along, I would sell it. But right now it's running fine. I got almost 1,000 miles in it already, and that's just in about a week from driving down here and then to my girlfriend's house for Thanksgiving, her parents' house, and then we went to little car meet in Atlanta and back. So it's been definitely doing pretty well. Just those few things. So if you guys are thinking about going with TCS, I'm not going to say not to, but just kind of take my experience into play. If you plan on getting a swap from them and that's all you want, that's all you're going to get. If you kind of plan on feeling like a valued customer, like actually seem like you're cared for, that's really not where they're up for. They're not going to give you updates really unless, like, I guess you drill them for it, or unless you were a close friend. That's just how I see it. But besides that, like I said, car's running good right now. I'll do more reviews on the actual car. I'll do a driving review with that here soon. I got a couple other random things I want to do. I know that there's an infinite taillight video going around of a Skyline. I know how to do that, so I'm thinking about do that with this car. Since these are already kind of circles, it wouldn't really be that hard to do. And maybe make a tutorial for that. That's something that you guys would like to see. Besides that, appreciate you guys watching this video if you watched this long, and think about subscribing if you have. If you haven't, think about subscribing, and think about subscribing if you haven't yet. And yeah, I have more car videos coming. This is actually like my 3rd or 4th channel. I have another one with about 20,000 subs on it, that's music. Another one with like 600 that I used to just go around car shows, but I thought I'd start this channel just flat zero, not really doing too much promoting or anything, and seeing how I can grow it organically. So that's how we're doing this one. All right, cool. my name's Tyler, and like I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, think about doing that, and see you all in the next one. Peace.